Okay, so welcome. It's Monday morning. So we are setting some intentions today and to carry us out throughout the week so that we can ideally live our best life and live in this chaotic world that we have, but with tools that help us to achieve, some joy and some happiness and to be able to enjoy life. So last week, I asked you to question everything. We dipped into our BS, our belief systems, and I asked you to question everything, to just take a look at your beliefs, at your thoughts, at your feelings, at your behaviors, the actions that you take, and to be curious and say, like, is this thought even mine? Is this belief even mine? So this week, I want you to continue that curiosity, that questioning. But this week, we're going to focus on our words, right? We're going to focus on our words. So listen to your words. What are you saying to yourself? What are you saying about yourself? Right? What are you saying to others? What are you saying about others? Right? Are you speaking from the heart or are you speaking from fear? And so this really requires us to lean back and to observe and to question and to stop and to listen inward. And there's so many ways that we do use our words. And so, if we use our word in fear, there's different ways that shows up. Do we use it because we feel, or do we not use it, let's say, because we feel inferior, right? We have this fear of inferiority, so we don't say, right? We don't speak our truth. We don't speak what we're actually feeling. And then where did we learn that from, right? And what, is that even, that thought of inferiority, is that even yours? Or maybe we speak because we think, we're better than others. Or maybe we speak in certain ways because we have this need to control others or a need to please, right? So again, whether we're feeling like we're inferior or superior to others, our word will reflect what it is that we're feeling inside of us, right? We might feel the need to manipulate others with our words because we want to get what we want. So there's so many ways that we can use our word. And this week is about shining some light on the words that we speak to ourselves, to others, and in what way. Is it coming from fear? Is it coming from love? So if you're not feeling a whole lot of joy or happiness in this world, really take a look at the words, because it comes down to a reflection of the words that you're saying to yourself or about others. So Don Miguel Ruiz, for those of you who have read his Four Agreements, one of the most life-changing books in my life. And so I do workshops around these Four Agreements, and being impeccable with your word is the first agreement in Don Miguel's Ruiz book of the Four Agreements. And he talks about that our words are magic and they can create spells. And so when we are coming from that space of fear, when we're coming from, we think we're either inferior or superior, so maybe we don't speak any words, or we speak, again, are we trying to manipulate? Are we trying to control? Are we trying to please others, right? That's all coming from fear. And in those words that we speak when we're feeling fear, we're creating this black magic. And black magic, right? We're creating spells that, are spewed upon others or upon ourselves. And again, look at our world. This is, disagreements and spewing different things with our word. And that creates this black magic, where it creates this war, whether it's a war outside of ourselves with other people or a war within ourselves. But when we speak from love, when we take a moment to really question how we're feeling and question these words that I'm about to speak, either to myself or someone else, I can drop into my heart and come from that space of, let's go to the 4 A's: acceptance, right? Appreciation, affection, and just maybe somebody is speaking out because, or acting out in whatever way, because they need some attention. So when we bring in these 4A's, we can then change the black magic to pure white magic. So we can break these spells, as Don Miguel refers to them. And I love that, because to me, I'm a visual person, so I can kind of see it. When I speak words of love, right? And this can be to ourselves. We can break these spells that maybe have been brought onto us. And this is why when we question everything, when we go, okay, well, are these words even mine? So think like when we were brought up hating a particular race, right? Or hating a particular type of person. Those, you might have been taught to hate that particular group of people, or through a religion of some sort. I don't know. We're taught all of these different ways of prejudice, right, through our words. And so when we spew it outward, you got to ask yourself, is this even mine? Is this coming back from generations? And you know what? And why this is an important question to ask, are these words even mine, right? Are these thoughts even mine? Is because we can stop the process. We can stop this process of, continuing on the war, or continuing to spew out this black magic. How? Coming into our heart, speaking words of love, words of affection, appreciation, acceptance, and that creates pure white magic. And we can break all spells of black magic with these words of white magic. So there's a quote that showed up for me, and it wasn't accredited to anybody. I was just kind of strolling through, I think it was Instagram. So I just have it written here. The one who avoids the conflict to keep the peace starts a war within himself. So that is something to think about if you hold things back. If you go inward and you just, you're spewing black magic all along yourself, right? This is a war within yourself. But if you think about it the other way, if you're spewing it outward to others, you're creating this war outside of yourself as well. So whether you have that tendency to manipulate, right, and want to control people and things around you with your word, or whether you have the tendency to not say anything because you're trying to people please, or you don't think you want to keep the peace. Either way, we're avoiding, well, that's just another way, right? Whether we're avoiding conflict. Either way, what we need to cultivate is some self-love. Speak to ourselves first and foremost with that space of love. That's how we come from the heart. That's how we break spells within ourselves, right? We can't control what anybody says to us. We can't control what everybody said to us. We can't control, our upbringing, or the things that we were subjected to, or experiences that we had. That's the outer world. That's the experience of a human experience, right? We all have it. We all experience it. All we can do is go inward. And when we go inward and start to question the words that we're speaking to ourselves, when we start to observe the words that we're speaking to ourselves, we can begin to change them. Right? We can begin to go, no, it stops here. I'm going to change this spell that maybe was programmed into me at some point, or I programmed it into myself because of an experience that I had. But this is why we question, we be curious, we lean back, right? You have that tendency to, want to manipulate or control, then that means you want to be silent. You want to really listen a little more to things around you, right? Don't contribute to, say, gossip. That's the move. Gossip is a big form of black magic, right? Be silent, lean back, observe a little more. If you have that tendency of, to avoid conflict, maybe you need to exercise your voice a little more, speak your truth. No matter what, wherever you find you fit into, it's got to come here, right? The change starts within us. So when we set our intention this week, I want you to be observant of the words that you speak to yourself and others, right? Most importantly, we got to get down to this changing within ourselves, this self-love, right? What are the words we're saying about ourselves? And that will, of course, reflect what we'd say to others. Okay, so be curious, question everything, question yourself, be silent. And when we can do that, take the morning, and we're going to tap it in right away, when we can change things up and just tap this into our body, we can then decide to show up every day as the best version of ourselves, of that person that we want to be within ourselves. And then we can make these choices to be impeccable with our words. We can make these choices to break all these spells of black magic, whether within ourselves or within, other people around us, right? But it begins by speaking words of love to ourselves. So let's tap this in. And I love the tap in part of this because it gets us moving. It gets things just flowing. We incorporate this into our body and into every fiber of our being. So let's bounce, let's shake, and let's bounce. Okay, let's conjure up all of these. We're questioning everything. We're not blaming ourselves. We're not blaming anybody else, but we are questioning everything. Are these my words I'm speaking? Or was I programmed to speak these words? Was my belief system taking over and I'm speaking these words? Again, there's no blame. We're not blaming anybody. We're not blaming ourselves. We're taking responsibility for our life and we're just questioning everything. This isn't even mine, right? And even if it is, it stops here, right? Shake it out. Shake out that black magic. I'm not going to feed this black magic anymore. Maybe these words were spoken to me. Maybe this thing happened to me and I didn't think I was lovable enough or worthy enough, right? That stops here. I'm not going to talk to myself, and criticize myself anymore, right? And we're going to march it out. Just start to question everything. Question, be aware the words that you speak to yourself and to others. How about yourself and to others? Right, let's bring up the knees. How about we you've got to set your intention to what works for you. Maybe your intention is to, really question the words that you speak. Maybe your intention this week is going to be to, I'm going to be more quiet, right? I'm not going to get drawn into all of the gossip around me. Okay, tap in. So maybe you live in a family that everybody gossips, or you have a workplace that there's so much gossip. Let's tap this in. And maybe you've contributed to it before, right? That was me many, many years ago, and it took me a long time to break that habit, to get out of the gossip. And I still find myself getting drawn into it. Okay, just tap. Let's rub our hands together and shake it out. And just tap in. So we're not meant to be perfect. This is a human experience. There's no such thing as perfect with human experience. But when we do our best, when we just breathe in, when we tap this in and say, yeah, today I'm going to be more curious about the words that I speak to myself and to others. Okay, let's go to that collarbone point. Today I'm going to be a little bit more curious. Do I get drawn into some gossip around, the office or the workplace or, my friends or my family? Do I get drawn into it? Am I going to lean back and observe and not contribute to it? Okay, let's come into the heart center and just tap it in. Maybe I'm going to observe, how I use my word to try to get my way. Is it coming from a place of fear? Do I have to go inward? If I'm really trying to manipulate the people around me with my words, there is a lot of self-love that's needed. I'm going to go in and nurture me and not try to control everything out around me. Okay, so everybody is going to, and you know what, different people, different situations, you might find, well, I'm like that with this person or this group of people, and I'm like this. So it all comes back here, right into the heart center. Let's speak words to ourselves, right? Good words to ourselves. Let's go underneath, metabolize it. And we can, when we speak impeccable with our word, with ourselves, within ourselves, that will begin to shift and change. This is a process. So first is awareness. Oh, I'm aware that I get drawn into these stories and these gossips. Or, oh, now I'm aware how badly I speak to myself about myself. Once we get that awareness, shake it out, we can make these changes. we can make these changes within ourselves. And yes, it's a process, but it starts here. Come into the heart. Be impeccable with your words, right? That's Don McElroy's first agreement. And I'm going to ask you this week to come inward. Be impeccable with yourself, self-love. Treat yourself the way, right, you want to be treated. Speak those words the way you want to be treated. So have an amazing week of being impeccable with your word, with yourself, being curious, questioning everything. And namaste. Thank you, my beautiful friends, for joining me today. Thank you.